Mike, the CMF, Catholic music fan, of course. Um, Today I wanted to talk about the Rosary. I have decided that I'm going to make some videos. Since I don't know how to edit, this is going to be a little rough. This morning I had a Rosary experience, which I'm going to try to record in a minute. But I thought I should probably start with my first Rosary. I guess my big Rosary story. I was away from the church for a couple decades, and really, from when I was like a teenager, and when I was younger, the Rosary was not something that ever was on my radar. I never really knew anything about it. My mom had a bunch of rosaries because I have some of her stuff, but it was never a big part of my life. And then when I came back to the church after being gone for some decades, um, if I thought about the rosary at all, I probably thought it was like something that the ladies do after Mass, after daily Mass, or I guess I just didn't really understand it. And the few times I tried to use it, I had that common complaint where how do you think about how do you focus on saying the prayers and the individual words of the prayer without just, you know, running them in monotone and still focus on the mystery, the glorious mystery, or the mysteries. So I had that problem, and I heard Bishop Aaron, I believe, he was talking about it, and he was saying something about think of the, I hope I'm not misquoting, think of it as like a mantra, more saying the Hail Marys, and then being able to concentrate, focus more attention to the mysteries. Anyway, about 3 years ago, I was at a camp, and there was the camp that our church was doing in an inner city, and there was this one boy who had who had some behavior problems, and he was disrupting the rest of the class, and it was pretty apparent that he was going to be sent home and invited to not return for the rest of the camp. Now, in the summer, these kids, a lot of, like most kids, they're going to hang around playing with their phones, watching TV all day, or getting into mischief. So this camp was really important for these kids to be at. They could be in a safe environment. They could pray. They were read the Bible stories. We had games. They got lunch and all these things. So it was really important that this child, would be able to stay. And I knew that he was probably not going to. So myself and one of the young ladies who was helping out with the camp, we went into we were at the church, the main church, beautiful church, like really old. And we went to a side chapel, and we were talking to the boy, trying to get him to get it together. We talked to him. I don't know, I wasn't too encouraged about how it was going, but she took him back to the rest of the group, and I stayed in the chapel for a minute and started to pray. And I asked God, what is it that you want me to do, God, Lord? Could you please get this kid to be able to, stay? Could you help him to keep it together so that his behavior is good enough that he can stay? So I was praying, and in my head, I'm asking, what do you need from me, Lord? Because I guess I thought I needed an answer now so that we could seal the deal, so to speak, even though you don't, But so I really wanted an answer. So I said, what do you need from me, Lord? And I was actually getting a little upset, because I really thought he would say, I would get some kind of a message saying, do this and I'll do that. So in my head, it's getting a little louder, kind of like screaming in my head, not out loud, luckily. So I'm asking God, what is it you want from me? Because I thought I needed an immediate answer to get this kid an immediate intervention, so to speak. Long story short, he got it together. Everything was okay. And over the next few months, I would periodically ask, God in prayer, what was it that you needed from me? But, it wasn't that often, because, if you owe money to somebody, you don't go asking them constantly, hey, can I get you that money? But if someone owes you money, you're constantly going to them. So anyway, I never got an answer. So then maybe 3-4 months passed, 5, 6, 7, around 8 months passed. And one day I was listening to Bishop Barron, and he was talking, I believe, about the spiritual life. And at one point he said this phrase. He said, you've got to pray the rosary. And that just like, bam, it just like hit me. And somehow there was this connection. And, when you pray, and when you pray, the more you pray, the more you converse with God, the more times He will subtly speak to you. And in that moment, I think God was subtly speaking through that radio program or whatever I was listening to, video that I was listening to. And He said, "You got to pray the Rosary." Okay, so I went home that night. Now, my wife has been for years kind of asking me off and on to pray with her, and we would occasionally, but it was not something I embraced. I'll go to Mass. I'll pray with people at Mass. I'll pray the Rosary if we're at a group, praying the Rosary. I'll do the liturgy hours with a group, like if we're on a retreat or something. Go to adoration, sing the songs. I love to sing. And when we sing, we pray. So I'll pray there, but I sort of have a reluctance. And many times a week, I'll stop at the, slip in the church, come into the main church, go up on the altar, and, just sit there and spend some time with the Blessed Sacrament. So I'll pray, but I just have kind of resisted praying at home with my wife. So anyway, I go home, I say, "Would you like to pray the Rosary?" She says, "Yeah, sure. I'd love to do that." So we prayed the Rosary that evening. And after we were done, she looked at me and she said, "I've been praying for 7 years that you would pray with me." And when she said that, that just like, that really, as they say, that really struck me in the heart. Sometimes we can be stubborn, sometimes we can be jerks. And when I say that, I mean me in particular, or you all do the same. But I can be a jerk sometimes, and a lot of the times. And that just really struck me. Usually when I tell the story, I start getting a little bit of rain just here, because guys don't cry, but I get a little rain. I'm seeming to hold it together now. But the fact that she'd been praying for 7 years to get me to pray with her, and those circumstances, those events came down, and I ended up praying the Rosary. Now, I'd like to say we pray the Rosary every day, but we don't. We've prayed it after that point on different occasions, but not regularly. But I mean, that's my Rosary story. We have even done the liturgy of the hours, which frankly I can get into that more. We'll do like evening prayer. So anyway, that's my Rosary story today. I'm going to do another Rosary story about, I think this calls a Rosary ring or whatever. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you today. Thanks.